Just wanted to allow folks some time to come in and talk with each other, get to know who's in the room, as well as get some good food. You know, folks work hard all day. Want to put a little bills in your stomach. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Althea Marshall Richardson. I'm the President and CEO of Empowerment Haven. We'd like to welcome you to the launch of the Building Contractors initiative that Empowerment Haven is putting forth. And Empowerment Haven's mission is to facilitate or create practices and processes that provide sustainable, measurable improvements in the economic status and quality of life of individuals, families, and businesses in the empowerment zone.
All right.
Got it all in one breath. And you probably paid for it. What does all that mean? Basically, that is, we need to, our goal and our mission is to leave the empowerment zone in better condition than when we found it. And that's what we're here to do tonight. This is part of it. The City of New Haven, as you know, has received over $300 million to do construction in the city, primarily for the schools. But we have development going on throughout the city, as we've seen in Monterey, in True Terrace, and a number of places throughout the city through the development corporations, doing work house to house, you know, street to street, block to block, community by community. And a big piece of that allows for that to happen are contractors. And those who are instrumental in making the construction trade boom in the city. We have Walter ESDAILE here from the Small Business Initiative and Lil Snyder from the Regional Contractors Alliance. We have Mr. George Clark here, Gerald Clark here, and we have Frank Alvarado and Bob Luizzi here, and a number of other folks in the room. I'm sure I missed somebody at some point. I think that's everybody who will be working with us on this strategy to make sure we make the impact as it pertains to the contractors on the project. Well, how is that going to benefit me out there? Well, CARLAH will explain a little bit more about the program and its highlights, but really our job is really to lift up the small business owner, the 1- and 2-man shops of contractors that work very hard to not only provide a living for themselves and for their families, but to really do work and impact their communities. And so this particular strategy was created to do that, to provide some of the technical assistance, as well as some additional dollars to take you to the next level, to build capacity of your business, that if you so desire to either start one or expand the one that you have, this is a means to support you in that. And some of the partners that I've named are going to help us in helping you do that. So we're really excited about the Building Contractor strategy and really hope to make an impact on small business owners through this particular program. I also want to acknowledge one of our board members who is here, and that's Ms. Sharice Townsend. She is our representative from Hill South, who sits on our board, who has been instrumental in just the construction trade really going forth in the city, whether through CEO with the Construction Workforce Initiative, or just being a mouth to voice and really speak up for residents and contractors such as yourself. So again, I thank you for being here. Welcome. And the person I'm going to introduce next will be the individual responsible for overseeing this project from soup to nuts, every day, all day, and that is Ms. CARLAH Bragg.
I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all here, because when you're planning an event, you know, you get the phone calls, you just hope and pray that the people who said they're going to show up really and truly show up. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who kind of came and are supporting us in this initiative. I wanted to, we out there in particular did quite a bit of extensive research, and in her research she actually came upon a program in Philadelphia called the Emerging Contractor, and contacted those folks and actually went to Philadelphia to take a look at their program, and it was such a phenomenal program. There was wonderful components that we wanted to model here in New Haven, so we actually got through their guidance, as well as through our partners here locally, did months worth of planning. So we're really happy about the program that was actually put together. During that period of time, summer emerged on us, and we actually had the benefit of a Yale President's Public Service Fellow. His name is Daniel Naught, and he worked so diligently with me on this project. I wanted to introduce him to you and give him an opportunity to have some brief comments. Come on.
I won't talk for too long. I'll just introduce myself and talk a little bit about the way we put the program together. I am actually placed in Empowerment Haven in Westlake through Yale's offices in New Haven State Affairs through a program called, as CARLAH said, the President's Public Service Fellowship. and I'll keep that enrollment that program. But anyways, so I got there on my first day. So she said, Dan, I'd like you to be in charge of a program that is going to help the construction industry in New Haven. I said, well, I don't know anything about construction. So my first day, I placed a phone call to a woman named Mildred from Gilbane, who was absolutely instrumental. And I'm glad she's moved tonight because she was really a key behind-the-scenes player in putting this together. And one thing that Althea told me on my first day is that she really wanted to create a public-private partnership. She wanted to get the nonprofits involved in the private sector, and companies such as Gilbane, R2D, and Tricon Construction Management have been absolutely vital in putting this program together. And we ended up choosing to have 11 classes, and nothing covers really to the trade itself. It's all managerial stuff, because we thought that would be the most useful because we got a lot of experts in trade. You know, we don't know anything about them, so we decided that we would stick to the managerial part of it. And we would run it 3 times. So we would run it 3 times for the year, and have 2 resource centers for the year. Not just for participants in this program, but for anyone, any individual in the construction business who needs office space, computers, something like that. So I'm now a senior at Yale, and internship editor, so I try to stay in that.
We're not letting him go. That's it.
So that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's great to see you guys. I hope this program.
Your brochure, which is in the packets as well. There are 3 training sessions planned over a 12-month period of time, each that's going to contain a series of 11 classes. The classes will be held on the Long Wharf campus of Gateway Community College, and the topics that will be covered are estimating, preparing a quote, how to understand a contract, accounting, financial fitness, cost control, scheduling, legal matters, staffing, and the most important that we thought was extremely important to emphasize, forming a business identity. In addition to increasing business knowledge, the classes we feel will offer each participant the opportunity for team building and relationship building with presenters and participants, and most importantly, community partners. The first session is going to begin on September 25th, and it runs through December 11th. And the sessions are going to be meeting weekly on Monday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. In addition to the classes, we're also going to be arranging for one-on-one mentorship, which will be available to each participant to receive guidance based on their individual professional needs. In addition to that, Dan mentioned the 2 resource centers, and those resource centers will be placed on our commercial corridors, one of which is Dixwell Avenue. We have a partnership with the Greater New Haven Business and Professional Association. Mr. Clark, if you just raise your hand. And the second is in the office of the Spanish American Merchants Association, I believe Bank Alvarado. And that will be the second one, which is right on Grand Avenue. We felt that those 2 particular locations were extremely important and would be highly visible and would support the contractors in the neighborhoods, would be able to offer you hopefully a decrease of expenses, but also extended hours. The services will be offered available from 9 in the morning till 7 p.m. at night. So you'll be able to run in, use a computer, get on the internet, use a telephone, hopefully cut down on that cell phone bill, use the fax machine, the copier, whatever you need. And those resource centers are not strictly limited to the participants of the training. What we're hoping is that Empowerment Zone contractors who either reside in the zone or whose businesses operate in the zone, any contractor who's actually supporting a project that is actually in the Empowerment Zone is able to utilize those resource centers. So we're hoping that the activity will really jump off and people will really see it as a resource and use it just that. We will have materials in there to help support continuous training opportunities. And pretty much, I mean, we're open for suggestions because we know that you guys are the experts. So I'm actually, in my collaboration with you, looking for you to tell me what you need. You tell me what you need and we'll have it put into that resource center within a budget. Upon satisfactorily completing the class, which means attending 10 out of 11 of the sessions, additional support up to a stipend of $600 will be available for additional training. And within that $600, if a person needs to purchase tools in order to build capacity, that's also a consideration that we will take into consideration. And then lastly but not least, at the end of the training, we're going to be able to give a $250 gift card toward the purchase of supplies. And let's see. I just want to say lastly that the program, I know Althea highlighted this as well, but it's really important for us to just explain that the program is designed with the intent of assisting the small contractor in business to increase business capacity, to assist them in the fundamental basic business skills needed to succeed, and to assist them in growing their businesses. The application process is as such. The application packets, which are over here at the table to your, well, depending on where you're sitting, to your right or your left, and those applications are due by 3 p.m. on September 11th, which is next Monday. It's very important that I have them as quickly as possible because the interviews are going to be conducted Monday and Tuesday between the hours of 5:30 and 8 p.m. The acceptance letters will be mailed by September 14th, and I'll also be calling folks just to make sure that you have as much notice of acceptance as possible so that you can plan accordingly, because the classes are set to begin on September 25th. What I'd like to do next is to introduce Bob Liuzzi, who's the manager of the Business Assistance Center. Bob has a few comments for us. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Tam.
Thank you, Carla. Hello and good evening, everyone. I have a whole bunch of things to say about this wonderful program that Empowerment Haven is putting together. And when I thought about it, I said, boy, if you just keep going on and on, we'll never have time to get through the program. So, as a famous celebrity once said, before I speak, I have something important to say. I wrote down some notes. It absolutely is a pleasure and honor to be here as part of this newly developed program, working in partnership with Empower New Haven to provide the business and trade knowledge emerging contractors need and want to grow and succeed in our community. It's a pleasure because I know firsthand from the construction tradespeople that have come to our office that this is the opportunity these hardworking men and women have been looking for to take themselves and their businesses to the next level. This truly is a well thought out and thorough program that addresses the needs of emerging contractor business owners. It's an honor because it helps people, it helps families, and it helps our city. The backbone of New Haven's renaissance is the construction industry. You see it most everywhere you go. Providing work and jobs directly to these members of our community is vital to maintaining our city's momentum. With a series of 11 classes covering construction industry topics, financial, legal, and accounting matters, administration and staffing business basics, I have to tell you, I am absolutely convinced that this is the training and mentoring course that has what's required to be a success. We need this program, and we need progressive and forward-thinking people like Althea Richardson, CARLAH Bragg, and the rest of the people at Empowerment Haven who have the ability, determination, and energy to make it all happen. Why, I salute you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
The Chamber of Commerce will be actually the location of the training classes for the building contractor strategy. I want to make sure I acknowledge Nicole Jefferson, who just walked in. She is the Executive Director, CEO, which oversees the Construction Workforce Initiative, and she's the one who makes sure that contractors are in compliance with what they're supposed to do legally, so that folks are on the job in accordance with the law and the project. So thanks for being here. Now I've been left with the duty to introduce our guests. As Carla shared with you, when we were looking to launch this particular program, and I have to say this was something that Empower was looking to launch some time ago, but we had difficulty kind of working out the components and making sure that it was going to make the impact that we had hoped it would make. And so I had done some extensive research, looked at some models locally, regionally, and throughout the country. And I kept coming across this particular program called the Emerging Contractors. It would pop up in a number of different ways because it encompasses so many different things. And so as I looked at it more thoroughly, I said to Carla, I think we need to look at this program. Can you make a phone call for me? And so I couldn't quite understand why we couldn't get the response, but once I got to Philly, I understood. Because, you know, Carla, why isn't he getting back to you, Mr. Clinton, who she was trying to reach? And he was busy. It wasn't that he was avoiding our calls. I'll get back to you. I actually spoke to him briefly myself, but I understand why. So I said, you know what? They can't come to us, we'll go to them. And so we got a crew, folks, and invited our partners to go down with us to Philly to take a look at their shop and see what they do. And I have to say, I was truly, truly overwhelmed at the work of the Emerging Contractors, which is housed at the African American Chamber of Commerce at the TAC, Technical Assistance Center, there at the African American Chamber of Commerce. And just listening to the stories and how they started, it started with a relationship, if I'm not mistaken, with Temple University, who provided some of the technical assistance and training, and the program just grew from there. And they've had their bumps along the way, but they worked very well with the city and also creating a great public and private partnership to create a phenomenal program. And I told them this is actually a model that should go national. It really allowed for millions of dollars to go back into the hands of the small contractors. And we actually had an opportunity to meet a contractor by the name of Mr. Williams. I'm not sure what his first name is.
Willie Walker.
Willie Walker, I got it all messed up. Willie Walker, I knew it was a W, Willie Walker, and he came in and he told us about what the program has done for him. And he went from being a one-man shop, and I think he's in double digits now at this point after participating in their Emerging Contractors program. So then they showed us the number of projects that they have that they're working on, and individuals participating in the program will benefit from. So we were really excited to have Mr. Fuller, Mr. Tillery, and Mr. Clanton come up and really share with us why this program works, what it's about, and how it came to be, because it really inspired us to come back and to get to work. And I really am thankful for the partners who went down with us and those who are on board with us to make this happen. So with no further ado, I will introduce to you our guest speaker. And he is no person who's short for words. When I say keeping it real, I mean that's probably being nice, because he is one who's a voice and an advocate for the small businessman, the small contractor on those million-dollar jobs. He definitely is one who advocates for those particular individuals, and that's Mr. Anthony Fuller. He is the Director of Construction and Public Affairs at the Technical Assistance Center for the Emerging Contractors. So I present to you Mr. Fuller.
Thank you. I'm really taken back and really honored to be here. I thought that Mr. Clanton and also Mr. Valerie, who was the right and the left arm of the center, would just have a few words just to express. Please come forward. Because these guys are also men of words as well. Oh, one second.
Okay. Good evening. I don't need this really.
If you could, for the recording, that would be helpful. If you still could use it, yeah, for the recording, that would be great. Thanks so much.
Do I need to hold it?
No, you're all set. You're at home. You're at home.
My name is James Clanton, and I'm a community outreach coordinator for the Technical Assistance Center for Emerging Contractors in Philadelphia. Like everybody else, we do a number of things. Particularly, my role is, in addition to recruiting, interviewing, and also outreach, and also taking the program and explaining its functions to various parts of the Eastern Seaboard. One of the things I think that's so outstanding about this program is that oftentimes we do things, and we're in the business, and we all are, everybody in this room is in the business of helping someone else. And we're an excellent company, and Ms. Bragg and Ms. Richardson, my goodness, their energy is enough to inspire, I don't say this disrespectfully, a dead person. That's how much energy and sincerity is the other piece. And there's no question those of us who are in the business of helping other people, we just I don't know what the word is to say about this organization. So, you know, we can say we are also overwhelmed, you know, not just by who we met here, but just traveling across the city today. We had a whirlwind tour, you know, by the incomparable Ms. Bragg, you know, it was covered like, you know, from one end of the city to the other. So I'm just happy to be here along with Mr. Fullard and Mr. Valerie, and thank you very much.
My name is Jerry Valerie, and I want to digress a little bit from what Mr. Clinton just said, and I want to speak to some of the folks arrayed around the room who will be involved or indirectly in this program. And I don't know of any group in the industry who needs help more than small contractors. I retired from federal government in 1983, Commissioner of Public Buildings for GSA, all of you know, Region 3, Mid-Atlantic states. And we worked with small contractors, and when I retired, I decided that after spending about 50 years in construction, both in the military, I retired from the military as well, as a colonel in the Corps of Engineers, I decided that I would do something for the construction industry. I went to the Community Development Corporation in Philadelphia, and I started working with them as a consultant. And we did in that organization pretty much what you're doing here, trying to support small business. Worked as a vice president there, did a business development center for the state in the eastern part of the state, and a contractor assistance program for the city of Philadelphia, both financing as well as technical assistance. Now, thank God that I was able to reach an age where I could be of some service, and I decided that the rest of my life I would spend things helping others. And that's what I've done. It hasn't always been money that has been the factor that started. I looked at the small contractor community in Philadelphia, and went to the dean of the School of Business and School of Engineering at Temple and said we had to do something. And we established a construction management program. That program exists today. We graduate about a 9-month course. We graduate about 25 students a year. And some of the best contractors in the area are graduates of that program. Now, I see a great university in your area, and they should be an integral part of what you're trying to do here. There's no greater resource than the university. You have two, at least I drove past two today. There might be others. But there's a wonderful opportunity involved in what you're trying to do. And I'm proud to see that at least you've used an intern. But they have greater resources. In big cities where there are large numbers of universities, we have to involve them in the solving of the problem, particularly in minority communities. And I encourage you to do that, because they are the center of many resources. Now, it was Philadelphia that attracted me and the Neighborhood Transformation Program to the plight of our most recent project, and that there was a major effort to clean up Philadelphia, and I determined that there should be some African American prime contractors involved in demolition. So again, we went to Temple University, involved them in the training. I reached over here and got my friend. It took us a year to generate enough interest to finance it. And we spent many hours. I left my business for a year and worked at it. In fact, I've spent 3 years pretty much away from my businesses, committed to this program, because this was an original commitment of mine. Now, my business hasn't suffered. It's wrong, in fact. And I want to pass on to you one of my commitments, part of my philosophy in this. It's almost like becoming a partner in a bank when you're reaching out to help someone. You'll never lose. It's only when you get selfish and deny help to someone and attempt to gain for yourself. And that's the philosophy I've followed, and we've been greatly enriched in business, as well as the satisfaction that I've gotten in working with Anthony and Technical Assistance Center. So I encourage you, all of you, don't worry about yourself. Just commit yourself to make this program a success, and it will be. And I thank you.
And so you see why I wanted these two arms of the center to come up and to speak to you, because we don't do anything by ourselves. That's, pretty much what I'm going to talk about today. I had to make some changes. What I wanted to speak about, no, but doing what our emerging contracting program is in Philadelphia, how we, foresee this also being Althea and also Carla, who, from what I see, possess the same energy and the same commitment that I see with our staff here in Philadelphia. Again, my name is Anthony Fuller. I'm the Director of Construction and also Public Affairs for the Emerging Contractors Program. We started this program approximately around in 2003. And as Mr. Valby said, that it was a uphill battle. No one wanted to change the status quo. And a lot of contractors that I see sitting around in this room knows what that means. And but there has to be someone that wants to think outside of the box, not just because we want to fit quotas, not just because we want to see participation goals, and we always hear that kind of language throughout this industry, not because we want to achieve that, but because of the business that is at hand. We at the Emerging Contractors saw an opportunity. We saw that in the demolition project in Philadelphia, they were going to take down 14,000 units of housing. And the majority of these units was in African American and Hispanic neighborhoods. It just did not make any sense to us that local businesses, local contractors that we knew had the skill set to do demolition should be left out. And the city was moving forward in a status quo process to bundle packages, okay? And the amounts of 150 units, 75 units, that would have the dollar value of a package of averaging from $1 million to $2 million plus dollars. Not something that a small contractor or a demolition contractor that is small could get itself up to do on the dollar value to have the capacity, to have the crew, to have the machinery, etc. But on top of that, to also be able to do business with the city through their submittal processes. through submitting paperwork, through having the proper insurance, through having the bonding, through having the financing, and all of these things that would pretty much have a small contractor come to a pre-bid meeting and have the attitude of saying, I can't do that. I ain't got the time. I gotta read through all them specs, go through all that process, and then bid on a package that I know I don't have the capacity to do. But it's by design to discourage them. Now, that works and that's good for some contractors, but it's not good for the city. It's not good for the population of people that live there, that is from those neighborhoods, that should be involved into the economics of their neighborhood. It isn't good for the city if you look at it through those lenses there. And that's what we were looking at. So we challenged the city, and such as I would also appeal to you to also challenge this city. When there are packages being bundled, why do they have to be bundled in that size? Why can't there be smaller prime, reachable contracts that can include more people and that will give you better numbers in some cases? And I'm going to get into that. So what we did, and through lobbying and through some other means and methods, we had to confront and we had to come and sit down and have a meaningful conversation with the mayor and everybody else. So we was able to succeed in that. And we was able to help them to understand that it just made more sense to have a program, and I mean a fast track program. You see, like, I was a contractor. I had a steel business. I was in the union for 17 years, and I went into my own steel business for about 10 years. And so I understand that whole plight there. I ain't got time to go through no long, drawn out training process. I'm in the business to make money. I'm in the business to feed my family. I got mortgages to pay. I got car notes to pay. I got kids that gotta be sent to school, tuition to be paid. And then on the other hand, run a business, keep on top of my men that want to get paid every week, right? Okay, and then also pay my payables and all the things that come about of doing business. So, but we had to come up with a process that would not be long and drawn out, but a fast track process that could get contractors involved in a meaningful way to understand how to do business with the city, to understand how to bid on these packages, and then for them to get out there and to do this work and to make some money. And so we convinced the city that, look, you got to make these packages small. We have to have a fast track training program. We got to have your people come down there, break out these packages, break out these specs, walk people through how to do business with the city, okay? And then how to submit their bids. And then to have prime contracts. We ain't talking about no subcontract work. We ain't talking about where the majority firm gets the contract, right? And then by some kind of participation goes with like that, he is made to break off a piece and give a piece to the subcontractor that which already brings a contentious relationship. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about somebody being able to bid to the city as a prime contract, where you have a contract between you and the city, or you and the owner, where you are also putting forth the margins that are there, and not someone else breaking you off and they already done stripped all of the margins out of there, and you gotta try to find a way to make some money. We ain't talking about that, right? But also in the process, that we can do all of this in a fast track way, right? And then so people can go to work. and people can make some money. So through Mr. Valerie, who is our director of training, who is really a genius. And I say that, you know, with all my heart, because he's been by my side even through my company days, and has stuck by this whole process to this very day. And we beat that payment, and we ripped through all of the reasons why the city could not do this. So we was able to put together a program, okay? But then there's also one other thing. That all contractors in this room, and all construction, I don't know how many construction managers or GC firms are here that we deal with. And that's capital. Capital. You need money. And I don't mean that money that comes 45 days or 60 days later after the work is done. You need money going in the front end in order for you to do the project. So we had to come up with a way, well, then how do we want to move that? So we sat down with my boss, who was Bruce CARLAH, who has put me under his wing and just taught me all this nuances about all of the politics and all of the other stuff that goes on in Philadelphia that helps to just bottleneck good business people from doing business. We had to sit down with all the banks in Philadelphia. We had to make them understand and make them see, this got to be a joint effort, you know? Here is all of the major banks. Bank of America is one. You know, you are missing out of a neighborhood of business that is out there that you ain't even trying to get. You know, you so big on trying to get the big deals, but there's thousands of small contractors that is ready and able to do business with your bank. And we need you guys, and we need the private sector to step up and to make loans and to provide lines of credit. And we designed a process that pretty much would guarantee that you would have no defaults. And we did. And we was able to bring $22 million. We was able to bring 9 banks to the table. Each bank put up $2.5 million. We was able to bring $22 million for a loan pool, right? Also said to them, because we had to do a analysis over all the companies that we were dealing with to really get an understanding of what kind of clientele that we really have. I mean, this is a clientele that has an average credit score of 700 or a credit score of 650. But when we did our analysis of everybody's credit score, it came to about 600. So we had to go back and we had to fight for that. Because you ain't getting no loan in this country. You ain't getting no line with a credit score of 600. Ain't gonna happen. Go check it. And if it is, you come back and tell me, because I'm gonna bring that bank to the table too. Okay? But by God's grace and mercy, we was able to achieve that. And which was a huge a shot in the arm for us to launch this program. To almost guaranteed success for those contractors that wanted it. Because now we begin to look at all of the impediments that stood us in the face. Say, well, they ain't got the right insurance. They don't have the bond. They don't have the financials. They don't have the right to the right experience and all the things that they will throw on the table. We was able to take all those things off the table. And then the piece about the money. So we was able to bring that to the table. And so, with that, we were able to help these contractors get through this process and to get city contracts, state contracts, federal contracts, as long as you had those kind of contracts to come to the table, as long as you did your due diligence to make sure that you had all of your financial information and everything was intact, and to prepare to go to the banks. And if you had a signed contract as a prime, you could get this line of credit. Based on that, all of that, which is really unheard of. But we were able to do that, and we were able to help to springboard a number of companies to the next level. Now, let me just say this. See, some contractors, and we hear that, well, I got to bring all this paper, I got to bring financial stuff like that, but you can't be fearful. And this is where we had to send a message. And I don't know, I don't want to be too long with it, because I'm going to wrap this up, because I can go on, and it'll be, the moon will be showing out there, and y'all be like, but you gotta bring what you got. Empower can't help you if I don't know what the problem is. And that was one of our major problems with our contract. You gotta bring, I don't care, I don't care how it looks. I had one contractor that with Lisa said, was that Willie Walker. Willie Walker was a excellent home remodeling contractor for 20 years. And he wanted to take his company to the next level. But he had impediments that were related to the industry. Because he was always relegated to the subcontract process, which you're going to get a subcontract, you're going to get paid late, it's going to make your credit bad, you ain't going to get all your money, they're going to hold retainage, you might not even get your retainage until 16 months later, you know what I mean? And all that drives a bad credit rating on your company, and not by your own doing. And then there are some things that are on top of that is by our own doing, because we're trying to rob people to pay for it. Happens all the time. But we worked with Walker, and Walker came in there with all of his mess. So this is what I got. I don't know if y'all won't be able to work it out, but this is what I got. You tell me what I got to do, I want to do it. But, and this is what I had managed to this program, and me and Carl have been talking about this all day. But in this program, and what Yale is going to have to do, and what the school district is going to have to do, you got to have tangibles at the end of the tunnel. It got to work parallel tracks. You can't work these things out if nobody got no work. The contractors got to be able to still obtain to get contracts. They got to be engaged into the economic development if they are looking to grow the next generation of these contracts. They got to go hand in hand. If you don't have stuff, you can't tell a contractor to come in here, this is all of this and impediments, right? And then he ain't got no work. Well, how is he going to get the money? How is he going to be able to maintain if there's no other process for him to get some more contracts and to work and help to work him through? And that's one piece that we were able to have, is that we were able to move our contractors while they were working out all of the problems that they had through contracts. They were still able to maintain and still receive contracts. They were still able to receive some technical support while they did contracting work. And while we was able to do that, now a Willie Walker can come back to us and say, well, I was able to take care of this when I, I was able to pay that off, get that paid off, and then I would say within about 6 or 7 months, I mean, he was ready to go to the next level. He was ready to move on. Now this is 2006. Willie Walker came to do it with himself, and he had 3 other workers that worked for him at that time. He has a workforce of 17 full-time workers. His bonding capacity net right now is in the millions of dollars. Our office that we get ready to move, hopefully by October 1st, but he was our general contractor. You know, that'll be nice. In an environment that normally minority contractors don't work in the towers like this in Philadelphia. Now, you will run out of contractors in Philadelphia. You will run out of contractors, right, before you run out of buildings. That's how much work is in these towers here. But they don't let minority contractors work in those towers. But in our office, they work. But he has been able to take his company to that level, one for his due diligence and one for a tangible program that Empower is trying to institute here for his contractor, New Haven. But we cannot let Yale doing, from what I understand, they're doing some multi-million-dollar projects.
Big projects.
School district kid?
Big projects.
Okay. Right now, our problem in Philadelphia is not work. We got on the books right now about $20 billion worth of work is hitting our sector right now, and no developer, no owner is not going to stand in line and take no number. I want my project to be built right now. And if you ain't got the crew, if you ain't got the workforce, if you ain't got the contractor, I'm going to go get it from somewhere. Okay? This is a union town. I don't get into all that what that union town means, but that's for another day. But what it does mean today, and what I think New Haven will be faced with soon, is that the demand of work is going to begin to outweigh the resource. It's going to be more work until they begin to include the 65% minority population here. That I'm sure that's where the majority of your underemployed and your unemployed is at, into the economy. All right? I'm not talking about no affirmative action. I'm not talking about no percentage of work. I'm talking about if the city wants to generate taxes. If the city wants to have a thriving economy here, you got to include the people that's going to pay the taxes. It doesn't make any sense to have 65% of the population left out. That's money. That's money that could be generated. These companies could be generating a tax base for the city. But if they ain't working, then how can that possibly happen? There's a workforce out there that needs to be engaged, needs to be trained. But hey, if they are not out there, now look, it's not like some piece of dust or just pretzels or whatever. If you make them into crumbs at some point in time, you just say it's going to just eventually just turn into dust and it's going to just go away, right? Over a period of time. People don't dissolve. They're going to be here. Somebody's going to pay for individuals that are not working, somebody has to pay for that. It's going to be some kind of burden on somebody's arms, because they don't just go. So either we want to embrace this program that should be a springboard operation that's going to include people into the economy, that's going to be a tax base that's going to increase the economy here in New Haven. That's just business sense. You know, they want to build, as what we say, you want to spend the money anyway. Now we had, and then I'm going to close on this. We had a case where the city in Philadelphia, in the emergency contractor program with the demolition, right? When they was bidding these huge packages, and they started out with all these other major contractors coming in bidding on these packages. But they started to get so overwhelmed with the huge packages that they could no longer continue to bid, because they had to get the work done. So then it began to dwindle down to about, what, 3 or 4 contractors was continuing to bid on the work. Now, what happens is that the unit costs start to rise when people start taking turns winning contracts, because they know that you ain't got nowhere else to go, and they know that no one else is going to bid this project. So through the ingenuity of the emerging contractors, we studied at task, helping build out contractors. A bid came through that we could put our contractors into the bidding phase, and we had about, what, 7 of them bidded that package, plus the other 4 major contractors. The bid went down, what did we say the city got, $500,000? $500,000 on one bid, because of the competition of the bidding. Because they had jacked the price up so high that the guy that was really bidding the price, that's the right number, and still can make some money. So this is what happens when you bring competition. This is what happens when you include, the city saves money. You begin to see the city making money and saving money and spending our tax dollars more wisely, because people are included. This is what this program will represent, and this is what this program can bring to this city. But if you don't involve yourselves, if you don't take advantage of this free access, if you don't challenge them, if they don't go to Yale and bring them to the table and sit there and have a meaningful economic the discussion about how these contractors can help them and their pricing, these are the things that can happen, and you can see some multi-million dollar. I mean, you do want to, make some $1 million, right? Right? I mean, that's all right. I mean, it's a couple dollars in your pocket, right? Okay? But I see contractors in Philly doing it, headed into that direction, and we are having success. So I bid you, I implore you to support this program, get behind these 2 strong women, because we will be behind them. We're not going anywhere. I'll be coming back up here. I see some business opportunities for us as well. But in my closing, I just want you to remember these words. See, now, they need to contact me to fix this. You got 2 contractors here? Show them what to do. The work that you have decided to undertake is noble, and you will be helping those who are economically disadvantaged and who will view your service as a lifetime be sure to establish and maintain the highest standard of excellence. And may that standard of excellence be your legacy to this world. Thank you.
Next from the Ukraine.
I'll double check. They're on our board and one of the names, but I'll double check.
Okay.
I don't believe I see Hilda
Yeah, I
here.
wanted to see if
We went down, we did a combat at Fort Riley. Yes, we came to Fort Leonard Wood.
I wish Jenny Miller, who's the executive director of the House,
it's very, very strong.
it's huge.
I think a lot of the minority clients, derive from it. Kind of implemented in 1937, but it's not just legislative requirements. Like if you live in public housing or for contractors, something, it could be a visual thing. They bid on how the calculation is up here. And then they're on their work and requirements,